Hey guys, Cute Dog here. Today I'm bringing you a build guide on the Blade Vortex Trickster utilizing Minion Pact. I'm just going to do a quick build showcase running a 8 mod tier 16 map. It doesn't have too many crazy mods on it. But once you enter the map, you're going to cast your Blade Vortex, which sacrifices your minion. The specter we use is Unholy Aberration, just because it has the most life of all specters we can currently have in the game right now. But it's very important that your first cast of Blade Vortex sacrifices the minion, because every time you press Blade Vortex again, it doesn't cast a new Blade Vortex. It just refreshes the one that you have on. With that being said, if you let Blade Vortex fall off and then you cast it again, it's not going to have the minion's sacrifice connected to the damage. So you're going to lose all of the damage that makes this build work. But if that happens, you just zone out and zone back in. And the way that works is because with this new league, or like last league, anytime your Spectre dies, it just follows you around as an orb until you enter a new zone and it revives itself. It's also very important that you don't sacrifice your minion in your hideout, because it doesn't have that revive interaction while in your hideout, and then you zone to a new zone. This minion is also non-desecratable, so every time you lose it or your first time initially summoning it, you'll need to go to Carcass, which is a tier 3 map, or the tier 9 Unholy Trinity map. As you can see, my energy shield doesn't move at all, or it barely moves, because of Trickster's amazing recovery. And the reason I chose to do this build and to use this shield instead of Waggle's build and the Aegis Aurora is because we get to use a Mage Blood, which gives a lot of movement speed. I got like 200% movement speed without investing into it really. All of the flask is very convenient for everything. I get onslaught from it, elemental resistances, and curse immunity. We also don't have to use the goal, so we get a whole slot for the helmet, which is a lot of energy shield and everything else. And then using a titanium spirit shield, we get more base block. So we don't have to use like 3 or 4 replica reckless defenses. I think he uses like 3. And we have those slots for other things. Let's do a quick build overview on the gear first. So firstly, a nebulous. You want to be careful with the nebulous implicits, because it could have increased lightning damage or increased fire damage, which will throw off your Trinity, which is right here. And the way that Blade Vortex is, it's only physical damage, but you can imbue it with added fire, and then physical to lightning gives it 50% physical converted to lightning. Grant Eldritch Ichors for my glove to get at least 20%, and then you're going to need to craft on 25% for your gloves. I'm only using it all right now until I get a focus amulet, and I'm going to be farming heist for that. For your helmet, you're going to want to fracture +2 to levels of all minion skill gems, which you get from Delve, and then you can recombine it using the essence strategy to make sure you always keep the +2 levels of minion gems. And after you got that, what I did was just reforge defense until I got tier 1 of one of them, and then I would use the beast crafting, add a prefix, remove a random suffix, and back and forth. Or you could just do Delve fossils until you get 1 or 2, and then reforge more likely. And with that, once you get 2 of those, you would block prefixes and hit it with the Veiled Chaos Orb. I unveiled Strength and Dex, which isn't ideal. I would have rather had Strength and Intelligence, but it did hit a T1 lightning resistance. And then I don't. I think I just hit it with the Exalt. Yeah, I just hit it with the Exalt because you can't really break the prefixes. If you want to go again, you can Eldritch Annul it. And then I hit tier 2 fire, so I just decided to keep it as is. Necrotic Armor, delve dense fossils until you're happy with your prefixes. Ideally, you'll want 3 tier 1 prefixes, but I settled for tier 2 hybrid because it's only like a 4% difference, I believe. And then Eldritch Chaos Orbit and Eldritch Annulled and just regular Exalted until I hit a Suppress. And once I think I hit like tier 3 Suppress, and I blocked prefixes and put it into the Hoarder Crafting Station for more likely, and then I got tier 1 Suppress. But unfortunately, it rolled Dexterity, which is not ideal also, and open suffix so you can craft anything. I think I'm going to change this actually, because I don't need the strength anymore. I did need the strength until I did the shield right here. So for the shield, you're going to want to recombinate the 3 prefixes, 2 on one shield and then 2 on the other. Recom those 2 together, and hopefully you get all 3 on one. Once you get that, ideally you would do a block prefixes and then hit it with the Veiled Chaos Orb. But this could potentially brick your whole item if it fills the suffixes, so it's kind of risky. But once you get that, you would want to ideally unveil double damage, chance to deal double damage, and then you would hit it with a Shaper Exalt and hopefully get Recover Energy Shield when you block. If you don't get that, however, you can then craft prefixes cannot be changed, and then Reforge Defense on it. I did that too many times. I spent over like 16, so it's like 8 different tries on it, 16 Divine Orbs. Yeah, and I got the Energy Shield when you block by itself, and then I had to hit it with the can craft multiple mods, and prefixes cannot be changed. I hit it with the Veiled Exalt. Unfortunately, I got Strength. I would have settled for a Strength Int, but this is what I have for now. I might retry it. It is risky though. I could break the whole item. I might retry it with another Veiled Exalt. Chevron Revelation on the left side for more energy shield. And for right now, I'm using Foulborn Lehoop for the global defenses. It's a pretty good road one. I dropped this and I decided to just use it. I might replace it with a Crusader Influence ring, like Geodesic or something like that, maybe. Or maybe even a Manifold, but I haven't decided yet. This 3rd ring is used only for being able to level up a gem. As you can see, it's ignored, so I'm not benefiting from it, but it's a good spot to place to have another incubator slot and also another slot to level up gems. The way you do this is have the nameless bloodline, and you don't even have to have it spec'd into the ascendancy node allocated. You allocate it once, you put the ring in, any ring you want really. You can also use that other one that has a socket also, a Void Eye or something like that, and then you can just unspec it and you'll be able to still keep the ring there. I think I'm gonna ascend Oshabi though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ascend Oshabi. Mage Blood, of course. This is the only item that I actually paid more than 3 divines on. Everything else that you see here is 3 or less. I think, yeah, this was 2 divines. The base, the only reason I had to pay at least a divine was because I wanted over quality bases, which you don't need at all. But I refuse to pay anything more than like 2 divines for an unsplit base, or more than 1 divine for a split base. this flask right here, you don't really need it. I'm just putting it there for right now because I don't know what else to put right there. I would replace this with maybe a Bottle of Faith or a Progenesis. I don't even know if Progenesis works with CI builds, but if I get a Bottle of Faith, I'll put it right there. And more elemental resistances is more damage for us because of the Nebulous. We're curse immune completely. It's just more evasion. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it right there or not, but it's nice to have for now. And then more movement speed. And as far as the tree goes, so when I first made a video on this, I didn't upload it, but yesterday I didn't have this right here. I didn't have the Light of Meaning. I just farmed Ritual for a little bit, and I got like 36 invitations to the King audience with the King, and I got 7 Light of Meanings, and one of them happened to be Energy Shield. So I put it in here, luckily. And this also, I got the Love Through Ice divination card, and I gambled it up to 4. I think you need either 4 or 5, and I got this from that. Otherwise, it'll cost like 20 divines on hardcore. Which everything on here, I didn't pay anything for this entire build except the Mage Blood. I didn't pay for a single item over 2 or 3 divs. I think I paid 3 divs for the Watcher's Eye. Yeah, I paid 3 divs for the Watcher's Eye, which I probably will replace later. I have no idea. And the melding, I farmed myself. I farmed maybe like 20 eaters, and then it luckily unidentified with the best rolls possible. And cluster jewels, you want to fracture unspeakable gifts on an increased chaos damage large cluster, and then you can refracting fog it to spell damage. And what you're going to want is either Conjured Wall or Mage Hunter right here for the spell block. And the other one, I put a rune graph of the Fortress right here. I will put a rune graph of the Warp right here once I find one. And for the other ones, it's just ideally you have Conjured Wall and Mage Hunter, which I'll roll for another one later. I just wanted to get this build started. I have a replica Reckless Defense right here. I think I'll be able to take it off, actually. I might be able to take it off if I get a little bit more block somewhere. Energy Shield and minions have max life, and that int is good too. So for the Elegant Hubris, mainly all you want on the Elegant Hubris is Axiom Warden, which gives your minions increased maximum life, which is how we scale damage on here. So for this one, I have the one right here and then one right here. I don't think this one's worth pathing all the way to. But 2 other nodes that are very important for the build that I haven't seen anyone else do is getting this right here, Eternal Resilience, which gives you your endurance charge. You could also get endurance charges generate every like 15 seconds over here, and since we have this node 200% increased charge duration, you just pretty much have endurance charges all the time. But I get it right here, so I can put later I'm going to have plus 2% to all, well, to code resistances, maximum resistances. And then this node right here, Eternal Fervor, it gives us our frenzy charge generation, which I don't know how you'd be able to get other than using a mark mastery. But you know, this is way better. It's just 1 point or 2 points. Okay, so right now I have 2 plus 2% maximum code resistance, which I was planning on getting 4 of these. I was planning on getting 4 so I can drop Purity of Ice, but I don't know if I'll be able to run the 154. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get more. 2 more plus 2 maximum code resistance jewels. I think I need 2 or 1 or 2 more, and then I can drop Purity of Ice, and still be able to run the minus cold resistance altars. 86. But I can get one more on here and one more on here, so that put me at 88. So I just need one more. So ideally, you'll want 3 maximum cold resistance jewels with energy shield and minion life. I don't think I went over this. So for the gloves, you fracture abyssal socket, and then you're gonna want to get 2 tier 1 defensives. Yeah, I hit that first, and then it naturally rolled intelligence tier 1 and tier 3 lightning resistance, so I decided to just keep it because that's pretty good. Intelligence is more energy shield with an open prefix for you to craft that. And then for the boots, I used an essence of fear. I used this essence on this, and it gave me the tier 1 energy shield and the tier 2 movement speed, which already is really good, so I decided to just keep it as is. And then I did I think I exalted the tier 4 fire resistance, which is okay. It's decent. I don't know if I want to min-max it even further to at least a tier 2 or not, but I'll keep it as is right here. You could, if you want to, fracture an abyssal socket also for another abyssal socket. You can get more energy shield and I guess more minion life too. But for at least one jewel, abyssal jewel, you're gonna want max ES and phasing. This one isn't very pretty. I ideally would want tier 1 phasing and then higher tier energy shield. I'm gonna redo this one later. Yeah. So FAQ, is this build better than a Chieftain, the Chieftain Blade Vortex utilizing minion pact also? As an all-around build, all-arounder, this is the jack of all trades. You can do every single content with this build while being extremely tanky, as you can see in my showcase. The Chieftain has better clear. Nothing can beat the Chieftain's clear. The explosions from the Hinakora's Fury or something like that. Nothing can beat that as far as map clearing goes. But Uber bossing, this build is absolutely phenomenal. Super tanky. Is it better than the Gladiator version? For Uber bosses, yes, because it doesn't rely on block. It takes one shots better. You have, right now I have 11 and 7% fizz taken as chaos, so that's pretty much just 18% of physical damage that you don't take at all. Maybe for mapping and Vados, I could see where the Gladiator could be a little better. I think the Gladiator also has more damage, I'm pretty sure, because you do use a Wrath Pith and you scale life with that, and that just gives you more spell damage. And with this Trickster, we don't get any type of scaling from any of our gear for damage except just minion life. Is this build SSF viable? I am pretty confident that I'd be able to pull this build off in hardcore SSF. It'll just take hours on hours of farming, which is what I did anyways, because I refuse to buy anything. It's just the way I like to play. I refuse to buy anything that that costs too much. I'd rather have farmed it myself. I farm the companionship myself by doing Legion. The Empower, farmed myself, got lucky on the level 4. This comes from Oshabi. I'm going to farm another one because the quality went down. This I farmed by myself from, and I got another one also. I got this one from the Syndicate Medallion, and then this one came from Nightmare Map. Invert the Rules is what I bought also. I didn't farm this one myself. It's only 2 Divines on hardcore, and I didn't want to go into Uber Maven yet. But I will take this build into all of the Ubers and upload a video with all of the Uber kills later whenever my character gets more finished. Because as of right now, Companionship's only level 2 with the damage that it has. And once it gets to level 3, and also once I put this in, I'm still refracting fogging this one until I can get this into minion life. He's going to have more area effect and more minion life, which will translate to more damage for us. And once I get that, I'm going to have 3 more points. Once I get to level 100, I think I'm going to drop these 2 nodes. So that'll be 5 points. Is this build leak start viable? Hell no. I put in on the POB, I have random snapshots of progression through my character. I decided to use Power Siphon Wanding just because I never played a Wander this entire league. So I decided to do that, but honestly, a way better way to level up any type of shadow would be to just use the Impending Doom mechanic with the Foulborn Doldries and Vixen's Entrapment. But all of this I farmed on my other character, which is a Earth-Shattered Berserker. Forbidden Flame and Flesh combination. I would use Opportunistic. Absolutely would use Opportunistic. That sounds great. You can't get reflected. You do more damage, you take less damage. But on hardcore, this isn't even a thing for either. Second option, I would definitely do Born in the Shadows. Just take 15% reduced damage and then you evade more. But this isn't available on hardcore either. So what I'm more than likely going to do is just get one step ahead and use these 2. I think I want to do Oshabi. I think I want to get the Primal Owl and just 5% more damage. I think that's it. Also drop one of these in Harvest, and I'm more than likely going to just use it on my Mage Blood to see if I can volatile it to 5 flask. But with that being said, I just started streaming literally this weekend, like 2 days ago, on Twitch. So come check me out. If you have any questions, come hang out with me. And but more importantly, try to die. I'm just kidding. I'll see you guys later. Leave a like if you like the build, if you like the video. I'll appreciate it a lot. Thanks.